But what's better is figuring out how to make a lasting business, how to set up processes to make it so that you're going to have longevity in the business, how to do all that stuff. So Ignite was fantastic to figure out how to set up your database, who to get in contact with for rentals, how to track down investors and make those guys part of your data pool. And Chris did a phenomenal job picking out seasoned agents that are experts in those particular fields. And even those seasoned agents came and learned from other seasoned agents that are experts in other fields. So I got a lot out of it, and I would highly recommend it to anybody else.
Yeah.
Thank you. For all of you.
Now we can
That's really
tell.
That's exciting. We have a new camera we're testing out today, and did it fall on?
It's all good now.
All right.
That's fancy.
I like that slide.
Just like, you should be, yep.
Sweet. All right, More Club. So congratulations to More Club members. Remember that we have our first regional event this Thursday. That will be at the Orem office at KW Westfield. And no, you are right. You are right. It is at Salt Lake Community College. I am lying to all of you. I apologize. Thank you. Yeah, it is at Salt Lake Community College. Yes. If you have not RSVP'd to that and you are planning on attending, please make sure that you do so. They're going to have some great swag there for you, and we will only have it for those that have RSVP'd. So,
And this is invite only, right?
this is invite only. If you believe you should be a part of More Club, so if you have completed $3 million in volume in the last rolling 12 months and you have not seen an invite come out, please email me or email front desk and let us know so that we can make sure you get you added to the More Club list. Mega Camp. So Mega Camp was always going to be primarily virtual with some in-person component. With rising cases, especially in Austin, they have shifted that, so it will now all be virtual. So that is next week, the 23rd through the 26th. A few things to keep in mind. We will be wrapping up Mega Camp with an in-office happy hour. So plan on joining us a little early for happy hour, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So Thursday the 26th from 12:30 to 2, we will have a happy hour here. Great opportunity to just chat with the other agents, talk about your insights from Mega Camp. What I find anytime I attend a training, a multi-day training especially, the more I can talk to other people that participated in that training and get their insights, and even just talk about my insights, it really solidifies me actually taking action and moving forward in my business. Yes.
Sorry, going back a couple slides. Will more be on Zoom?
So jumping back to More, it is primarily in person. We have never done a Zoom from Salt Lake Community College, and so there's not a clear expectation on what that's going to be like. That said, we do know that there are members of the More Club that are in quarantine currently, or those that are not comfortable being in a room with multiple people. They're trying to stay out of quarantine. And so there will be a Zoom link provided. The thing to keep in mind is if you are attending via Zoom, one, we haven't done it before from Salt Lake Community College. In a Texas-style block party with our sister office in South Valley. So this will be at the South Valley office. It is $50, and that is a ticket for you and a +1 to attend the block party. And they're going to have an electronic pool. They're going to have live music, Texas-style barbecue. That does cover the food and entertainment. I think drink tickets if you'd like drinks for that event. So this has gone out in email. We'll continue sending it out. You can use the link to register for that. And we would love to have as many of our agents there as possible. Great way to kick off the week and bring a little bit of Texas here.
Like last night?
Yes.
And then just jumping back with Mega Camp, and then during that week, we will have the general sessions broadcast here in the office. So we are going to have.
Don't do it till it hurts. Just do it lightly. You need to do it lightly. Regular.
Watch Mega Camp and not be too compact together. So feel free to come in if you'd like to watch the general sessions here. I do find sometimes if I'm doing one of these multi-day events and I'm in the comfort of my own home, sitting in front of my computer, trying to stay focused, it is a little bit trickier. So I think that we can create a little bit more of that actual live conference experience by being here together in the office and doing that. And again, it gives you that opportunity to connect with the rest of your community, share your takeaways, hear their takeaways, and really, even by just speaking out loud what it is that I'm thinking about as I'm watching these sessions, I find that it becomes more actionable for me than if I'm just paying attention and thinking, oh yeah, this would be good, this would be good, and then the conference ends and I can't remember it. So if that's true for you too, maybe consider being here in office so you have a chance to talk to one another. Also during Mega Camp Week, make sure that you stay tuned to our Facebook page because we will have conversation going after the sessions to get people's takeaways, to share what our highlights were, and there will be fabulous prizes available through that. And then while we are broadcasting Mega Camp here in the office, there will be snacks so you can kind of come, kick in, get some food, and get some knowledge. So Earnest, most of you know that Earnest is our option for earnest money deposits rather than a wire transfer. This is a safe way for your clients to be turning in their earnest money and doing it virtual so that they're not bringing a check into the office. You're not having to run a check into the office. We have had some questions come up recently on Earnest. And so we wanted to bring in someone from Earnest to answer those questions and just share with you a little bit about that. And then when we send out the email today after team meeting with the slides and kind of a recap, we will also include a link for the getting started video for Earnest. So if you have not worked with this system before, and this is all new to you, watch for that to come through. Hang on to that link. It's a great handy reference so that if you're turning in earnest money 2-3 weeks from now and completely forget everything that we talked about, you can click back on that. Do we have Blaine on?
He is
Excellent.
on.
So Blaine from Earnest will be sharing with us, and you put that up here on the screen. Or do I need to do something?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Really great to be with you all today. I've also got Brody
Now, this is
McGregor.
where we're gonna have to pause for a couple seconds. 'Cause-
Quick
Sorry,
commercial
you're-
break.
Quick commercial break.
Okay, no
Sorry,
problem.
Blaine, 1 second.
No problem at all.
Uh-huh.
ETA.
Commented.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, Blaine, will you just say hello?
Hello.
Sorry. Sorry. Oh.
Can you hear us?
Click to join audio is on his screen now.
No, it's ours.
Recording in progress.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can still hear you guys just fine.
Okay, now we can hear you.
All right.
Thank you for your patience, and Blaine, if you'll give us the Earnest rundown.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having us today. I've also got Brody, my associate with me today. Brody is one of our awesome success specialists. So she'll be here kind of manning the chat, everyone. So as you have questions, feel free to drop those in there and she can address them as they come in. I'm the director of client success at Earnest. Really excited to be with you all today. A lot of cool stuff to show you. I always assume when we're in a room like this that some of you guys are diehard Earnest users and some folks have probably never dipped a toe in that pond yet. So we'll try and cover all the bases today. Try to provide a little backdrop. Earnest was formed by KW agents in Greenville, South Carolina. If you've ever been here, you get immediately why. We're at the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains. So to get anywhere takes 25 to 30 minutes. So they want a system that would allow for, less travel, less hassle in trying to get that very critical earnest money payment taken care of. But they wanted something that would also meet NACHA guidelines for security using the ACH network as a digital payment. And they also wanted something that would be National Association of Realtors endorsed as an endorsed tool. And in the Earnest phone app, in the Earnest KW integration, we've done all those things. And so my goal today with that backdrop is to give you guys a real clear use case for how this can help your business, how it can keep you organized to send your requests, to receive the earnest money, make sure it's going to the right place every time, good funds guaranteed, but also how you can even use the phone app to manage your business and manage all those requests you're sending out. So with that said, guys, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Brody will be dropping those links in as I touch on these different points. And it looks like the screen sharing is disabled for me, guys.
Try that.
Try it again here. Awesome. We're in business here, guys. Okay. And can everybody see the Earnest home screen okay?
Yes.
Look good? Okay, perfect. Well, here at the Earnest home screen, we make it really easy for you guys to be able to access us. We have our agent button, and that is going to be your one-stop shop for all things related to the phone app. And I'll show you just that in just a moment. But we also have our partners page here. And I want to make sure you guys get a preview of this because everything you guys need to be able to use our integration within the marketplace in KW Command is visualized for you guys right here, including how to create your first request. And I'll go ahead and play this short video just showing you the introduction to where we sit within the marketplace.
From the Keller Williams Marketplace home screen, search for Earnest, and then click View Details. Here, you can read about the benefits of using Earnest. To activate the app, click Try the free edition. The entire app is completely free for agents. Confirm your order by checking the box agreeing to the terms and click Place Order. To create your first Earnest money request, click Go to My Apps. Open the Earnest app. You will be automatically signed in using your KW details. Select the plus sign in the top right corner. Use the form to enter the property address. Next, click Select an escrow holder and begin typing the business name. Do you have the mobile phone number and email of the person who is paying? If the answer is yes, click Yes. You will add it in the next step. If the answer is no, click No. You can invite the buyer's agent to complete the payment request. Finally, select the Save Property button. To add the payer to your transaction, click Add Payer Information. Use the form to add the payer's name, email address, and correct phone number. Then click Add Payer Info. To set up your payment request, click Set Up Payment. Use the form to enter the payment information. Check the list of who will receive notification via emailed receipt. If you wish to add anyone to this list, you can use the Add Additional Recipients field. Click Save. You will now have an opportunity to review the request you created. When everything looks good, click the green Request button. The payer will receive a request to pay their earnest money via email. When the payment is complete, you will receive a receipt via email.
So that is our integration within KW Command available in the marketplace. It's a very nice tool. We've got thousands of agents every month that are using us through different mediums and different integrations, and we have a large chunk of that represented within this interface. However, what I want to spend the bulk of our time on today is to show you the phone app because that has features that none of our integrations do. It takes you kind of to the next level in your ability to be able to control and also track your requests. So from that page again, at the home page, I go to this agent page on the upper right. And just like our KW Command page, folks, this was set up to be a one-stop shop. If you want to get the app, whatever type of phone you're using, it's available free in either Google Play or the App Store. You can sign up for a free webinar. Now, this is not like the webinar we're doing right now. This is a join anytime 24/7 webinar that you can jump into. It takes about 10 minutes, and you can fast forward, rewind, whatever you need to do. But you can learn how to use the phone app right through that webinar registration. In addition, we've also got down here a little bit more about Earnest, and we've got a great video detailing, again, how to make your first request.
So again, you can download the app right here. All that we require is your first and last name and an email address, and you guys are signed in and ready to go. Excuse me. When you log in for the first time, folks, this is what you will see. Now, this is a 256-bit encryption app, which in layman's terms is bank level security. But beyond that security is a very simple interface for you to use. All the requests are stored under the active, inactive, or deposited tabs. Deposited is just what it says. It shows every single request you created that is actually settled into the proper escrow account. Active is every stage from requested. I think if I scroll down here far enough, I'll see a few more. There's one that's paid. Anything before deposited is going to be stored under here. And anything you trash will be under inactive. Finally, guys, notice here real quick. I'll do it one more time so everybody sees it. Up to the left of requests, you never have to dig for a chat feature or a chat bot setup or a phone number again when you're using the Earnest phone app. Our support team is available by clicking into the menu and clicking the support button. You can actually make a call right from the phone app, no digging for that number, or start a chat right here if you need help. And then the most important part here, guys, requesting the actual payment. Again, this is the same setup, just slightly different from the property card we just looked at in the KW integration. You're going to go through about 5 screens. We tell you here what information you'll need. A lot of agents already know this when they get to this once, so they'll click Don't Show This Again. And you're ready to begin the request. Notice how it mirrors the integration with KW. Yes, I have their email. No, I don't have their email. And here is one of the first really nice features with the phone app. This is connected to Google Maps. So I should never really have to, unless it's like a brand new build, enter the full address. I should only have to go about this far before I get the address I want in the Smart Search filter. And I'll confirm address, and that's the end of screen 1. I'm going to go ahead and say it's 5,000 today. To go ahead and click continue there. And then I'm going to go ahead and enter the email address of my buyer. And I'll pretend that I am the buyer today. And that completes screen 3. Now notice here, folks, that again, this is the same Smart Search filter you just saw in the KW video. So we're searching by 2 things here, guys. It's a geocode. So if you've entered a Utah property address, 49 other states are eliminated before you even begin typing. And if this were a live app and not a demo, you'd go ahead and put KW Utah right in here, and it would pull up that as a Smart Search. As it is, because I've done more than one demo with my demo best escrow account, it remembers that. And after you enter KW Utah Realtors for the first time, you shouldn't even have to search it. It'll be suggested here as your favorite escrow account. And that's screen 4, guys. Screen 5 is one of the things that makes Earnest really great for everyone, is that we keep everybody automatically in the loop. We are going to generate receipts, which I'll show you in just a moment, to the buyer, to the agent, and to your back office at KW Utah automatically. Now, if you want to throw in the lender or something like that, you can certainly do that right here. But otherwise, everybody's automatically set up for you. You click Finish Setup. You've got this last preview screen where you can edit if there's any information here that's incorrect. But otherwise, you swipe right, and it's sent. Now, our typical agent, guys, from the thousands and thousands of transactions we see every month, creates these requests in about 90 seconds. Now that's brand new users included, hundreds of brand new first-time request creators every month. The average is 90 seconds. I'm going to click Got It with these instructions. Now this is the really cool feature here. Not only do you just send a secure one-time request to your buyer and they received it in real time. Here, let's say you call your buyer after 6 or 7 hours and they haven't even moved on the request. And like some folks out there, they don't check their email regularly. And they say, I'm not going to look through my email to find this. Can you send it to me again? Resend is right there. Let's say the deal falls through for you guys. The trash button is right here to go ahead and get this request, into the inactive folder. But there's one more really great feature here, guys. When I go back here for any of my requests, you as an agent can click into the request. And for the first time, really in real estate, you can track every single stage of your requests. You will know the moment, for example, the buyer clicks the link that you sent them, logs in, and begins the request, because the accepted button here will flash green and a check mark. Even after they've paid, you'll still be able to track it across the ACH network. Now that's a really cool feature. You can actually see when the funds clear their account, and you'll be able to see in an average of 2 business days when that money deposits as well. So we're not just going to send you the receipt showing that they've paid it. We're going to let you track it all the way through the process, from the moment they enter it to the moment they pay it to the moment it deposits. And that is available for every single one of your requests. Now, the last piece I'll show you before I jump over to questions here real quick is once you sent that request and they've gone ahead and paid it, it's important obviously to know exactly what it looks like, the receipts that you'll receive. So everybody's going to get the same receipt copy. Back office, buyer, agent will get an Earnest branded payment receipt with the address shown, the payment type, the payment amount, the processing fee, which is always flat and charged straight to the buyer, and then all these other payment details, including the originating and destination accounts, which could be very valuable for your lender. And then 1 to 2 business days when the money settles and deposits, it can range up to 3 business days, but more typically we see 1 to 2. You'll have a deposit receipt that goes to the back office and to the buyer again, letting them know those funds have deposited. That's quite a bit of information I just shared. I want to definitely make sure we leave time for questions. I hope that was a helpful presentation. What questions do we have so far, Brody?
Any questions in the chat? Any questions for folks here live?
Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
Barely, yes.
Okay, I've been sending it to the listing agent and my title company too. Like I've included their emails in there. Is that something, I mean, I didn't know it gave accounts, like the beginning of accounts. Is that okay?
It is okay because it's never actually going to have the full account number ever. The most you'll ever see is 4 digits, and sometimes it doesn't even pull that.
Okay.
Yep. We got a lot of agents doing exactly that.
Question.
Yes.
Does it tie into your opportunity, Dr. Matt?
So it doesn't automatically tie into the opportunity, but you can load that Earnest receipt into your opportunity as the, basically as the copy of the check. So, great question. All right, so-
Robin, this is Tony.
Yes.
Is the deposit receipt different than proof of payment? And which does KW need?
So that receipt that Blaine showed is exactly what you want to load into the opportunity, and that will be the proof of payment. And then you'll just want to make sure to still sign the earnest money receipt.
Okay, if we're in a multiple offer and we lose one deal because it failed, now we're under contract on another, there's not time to get the money from you guys from one account to the other. How do we handle that?
So just as you would with any other form of earnest money that gets turned in, if you want that earnest money when it's released from a transaction to be applied to a different transaction rather than given back to the buyer, you can request that. And then there's a form that the MCA will send over to you to have the buyer sign, confirming that's how they would like to have that handled.
Thank you.
All right, well, Blaine, thank you so much for being here. If y'all have more questions that come up about Earnest, let us know. And then, like I said, we will be sending out the introduction video, giving those basic instructions with the email from team meeting today. So make sure that you watch for that.
Thank you all for having us today. Appreciate it. Hope it's useful for you guys.
Thank you.
All right, is this the one that I want? And then I want that guy. And then present. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so I am going to, in the interest of time, click through a few slides. Once a month, we are going to be sharing language of real estate. Oh, I forgot my clicker's not working, which is basically looking at a deep dive on our production versus the market, to give you some tools when you're sharing your success story, when you are talking to clients or potential clients about about what you do and how you do it, this gives you some good bragging rights, as well as some understanding on where we need to be focused to continue to build success. So we have a phenomenal panel today to wrap up our wealth building series. So I'm not going to do a deep dive into these slides right now, but instead I will record a quick video going through this and again, send that out with the email of team meeting. So watch for that to come through. And then just know that this is something that we will be going through on a monthly basis. Now, I would like to present our fabulous panel to share with us information on investing in flips. So this is our final segment of our wealth building series, and one that I'm really excited about because historically, this is a type of transaction that investors have been very interested in. It's something that that a lot of agents have interest in pursuing because it's an option to make a considerable amount of money in real estate. But for those who have not gotten into that before, it can be daunting, especially in our current market where it maybe feels like a deal is harder to find. And so we have a couple of agents that have had great success with this. Carrie Simper was going to be here today. She is actually, I think, working on a property right now, but she sent us a wonderful kind of explanation of her story, which we'll be including in the email as well. But now I'd like to bring up Greg Ward and Annie Cannon to share with us their experience. If y'all want to come on up.
Over here?
Yeah, sorry. This right there is great. So Greg, do you want to introduce yourself and share a little bit about how you got involved in flips and, what that segment of your business has been?
Yes. Okay. My name is Greg Ward, and I've been an agent for about 10 years now. And got started, I helped a few clients purchase investment properties and flip them. And then got interested from there and just kind of learned everything I could about it, and then just kind of took the step. At some point you just have to act and go out there and try it. And so did that, and I'm not an expert by any means, only flipped a handful of properties, but they've all been successful up until this point. And so learned a ton, and happy to share with you guys what I've learned or any questions you guys have.
They're beautiful flips, by the way.
Thank you.
Very talented.
So Annie, do you want to share a little bit about your background?
For sure. So I have been an agent for 17 years now. And I always was interested in this. I love design. My husband's super handy. So with our flips, and you may be the same, but we've been very hands-on, which is good and bad. I've kind of dragged him into it, and he's kind of said, I'm done, that's all you. And so the last one I did one last year, and I did all by myself, and he had something to do with it, so that was a big accomplishment for me. But I have the advantage of, I've always worked for builders as part of my business, and so I have a good relationship with some contractors. I think that's a huge important factor, especially right now. It's really hard to get anybody to do anything right now. So building those relationships is huge. So
that's great. So Greg, with your flips, do you rely on contractors? Do you do the work yourself? What's sort of the balance of that for you?
Yeah, so I've done it all, and I'm the type that I think here in Utah, we tend to try and do everything ourselves, which is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, right? So yeah, I mean, it's you can do it either way. Kind of depends on your personality. Like she mentioned, there's good and bad to it, right? You try and do things yourself, it can take a lot longer. You can make mistakes, have to fix them. But sometimes it's just the only way you get it done. You can't find contractors right now. And I'm a little bit OCD, and so I'm always like, oh, no one's going to do it as good as I can, So it just depends on your personality. Again, I think there's also a balance too, right? And it can be anywhere in between. I know some flippers who go out and they just hire someone and they take care of it. And I kind of envy them sometimes. I'm like, that'd be nice just to let someone take it over. But sometimes that's tough because a general contractor, if you go out and just have them, hire someone to do everything, they're going to charge you for it. And depending on the deal you get, there might not be enough spread in there to do it. So So it just depends, but yeah, I've made it a family business. I've, laid flooring, done demo work, you name it, anything and everything in between. But I would say there's definitely things that are good for you to do, and then there's things that are better left to other people. So depending on what you like, but there's, everyone can do everything for you. And so I would say, lean on the experience of others and find good people to surround yourself with. And if you don't know any of those people, you want to do something like this, there's someone that does. And so I mean, probably the best piece of advice I would have is, whatever your weaknesses are, those are someone else's strengths, right? So lean in on people that have experience, and don't be afraid to partner up with people and surround yourself with people who have done it, right? So just look around you at on Facebook, social media. If you're interested in joining groups, investing groups, and it doesn't have to be places you get together, but just online. You can go online, look and see, it's so easy to see who is doing stuff these days. And you're saying, oh, these guys do awesome flips, I want to do that. Then, ask them to, just chat with you a little bit about it, take them out to lunch, provide value. I always try and come from a place of value, right? So networking with people, seeing how you can be of help. Even the most busy, experienced flippers, they always can need something, so, and you guys can be a resource. Everyone has things that they can provide to other people. So whether that's, contacts or, reach out to them. Don't be afraid. Just say, hey, I love your work. You do awesome stuff. I'd love to do that someday. And I mean, just putting it out there, you'd be surprised at what you'd be able to get and how willing people are to share. And if they're not, move on and find people that are, right? I always surround myself with those types of people, and it's paid off huge. So don't be afraid to ask people, lean on their experience, and they can go a long way.
So Annie, share a little bit about how you find properties that are good flips. What's sort of your criteria? What are you looking for? And have you found a type of search that's been most beneficial with that?
For me, I guess I'm a lot like Greg in that this is a smaller scale thing for me. It's not my main source of business or income. But I always try to take advantage, and this is what I would like, if I left one thing with you guys today, it would be this, is like, we're in this industry that has so many opportunities in so many different areas for us to take advantage of. You don't have to be selling homes all the time to make money. There's lots of ways to make money based on what we know and what we see every day, right? And so for me, I never I don't know if you guys as agents like pull up the MLS every day. The first thing I do is like do my 1 day back search. I'm constantly looking for whatever it is. If it's a good property for a client or me or whatever it is, I'm always just looking. But my serious searches aren't really searches. It's really as I'm out showing properties and getting to know neighborhoods, I end up usually stumbling onto things. That's almost how I have found every property. Or I actually have a handful of flips that I've done, and this gets a little tricky, but there are ways to do it without getting yourself in trouble. But what I have been able to do is, and this is not the market for this. I don't think it's not a market for flips. I think it definitely is, but the way that I've done it in the past is probably, it's not the best market for it. But I have gone on listing appointments and been in homes that need work. And I have presented to those clients option A or option B. Option A is let's do the best we can with your house to get it ready for the market and get it listed. Option B is sell it to me and I will flip it. But I make it very clear to them. I have them sign a hold harmless agreement, because I don't ever want them to think, oh, you took me for this. You made $50,000 on my house. You never want that to happen. But I have done that a handful of times, probably 6 or 7 times, where the client has said, you know what, we've been thinking about it and we are looking at the list of stuff you gave us to do to get our house ready for the market, and we just want to sell it to you. And then I'm not secretive about it. Like, I'm very, like, it's on social media. It's, like, they know that I stand to make a profit on that, and that's okay. They didn't want to do the work, you know? So, and I think that's like, we all have our thing, right? Like if they're doing well in their career and doing other things or busy with their family, then that's fine. That's, you don't, you know, that it works out for everybody. So a lot of times I've stumbled on them through listing appointments. The last successful flip I did by myself, the first and last, because I haven't, this year's been too crazy for me with my builder, but I showed it to a client and I was trying to like get her to kind of visualize, and it was like so easy to me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like carpet and paint, and like we could do some really cute light fixtures. And she was not having it. She just did not have the vision. Went and bought a brand new home. And I, a week later, was like, I'm gonna buy that house. So I went in, made a cash offer, got it, and I just did really simple stuff like mowed the lawn, pulled the weeds, paint, carpet, lighting, a couple little details, and then I do staging, so I staged it. I made like $60,000. Now, granted, if I would have held on to it, I would have made a lot more money. So that's another topic for another day. We didn't know what the market was going to do, but that was in 45 days that I just flipped that. So I mean,
Great.
On the MLS.
it was listed on the MLS and then it sold it on the MLS.
So Greg, any resources that you've used to find properties that Annie didn't go over?
Yeah, though I like the one she mentioned, because that I was just thinking when she was explaining that of one of my properties I flipped. I had a friend that referred me to family friend of his, and it was the same thing, and went on the appointment. And I've learned it's hard for me to switch my hats, right? We've got the realtor hat where it's like represent your client best interest, get the most money for them possible, right? And then you've got your investor hat where you want to make a lot of money, right? And so it's like, well, you have to get it at a better price. The lower price you can get it for, the more money you're going to make. But I thought it was great what you mentioned about the just being upfront with them. So I've done that, and I did that with one of my flips that I did, and it was same thing. Here are the two options, right? We can sell for this. Here's what the comps say. Here's what you need to do to get that, and you know, here's another option. Explain that I just got done with the flip and I could buy it as is, and they wouldn't have to worry about any of that. And then they just made the decision. But it's being totally upfront with them. You know, you don't want to get yourself in trouble. You want to say, hey, here's this option. You know, I would need to make money for the time and effort I put into it. And so this is where it would need to be for me to make sense. But, you know, I want you guys to do what's best for you. And that's always been great to do. You feel so good about it. You know, you put it out there, and a lot of the times, yeah, they come back and they say, hey, yeah, that option works great. They even know that. So I've found properties like that. You can find properties on the MLS, you know, they're out there. You can, if it's hard to get your offer accepted in this market, one thing to do is you can reach out to the listing agent and offer to credit back the commission to the listing agent. You'd be surprised how your offer seems to just rise to the top, right? So that's something that I know other flippers, other people have done as well to get offers accepted in this crazy market, and they're still finding properties in this market. So you guys can set up hot searches too with keywords like cash, fixer upper, flip, things like that. I've done that in the past, and I get emails, so you don't have to be looking at the MLS every day. You know, it's just like, oh, here's some homes, click on it, and it's like, oh, this one, you know, needs work, fixer upper, cash, you know, home that needs to close with cash. And so you'll see those pop up, and it's a good way just to get stuff basically sent to you, and where you're not having to do those searches every day. So that's a good way to do it while you're out and about. They call it driving for dollars. So when you're out and about, whatever you're doing, or if you have family, you know, your spouse, whatever, kind of teach them how to look for property. So you want to look for broken windows, overgrown properties, roof damage, things like that. Properties that look like they need fixing up. Write down the address, or better yet, just go knock on the door and just, you know, you can say whatever you want, right? I'm looking for a home to buy in this neighborhood. Just want to know if you knew anyone that's interested, right? You're going to ask them, but say something like that to them and see, or leave a note, you know, for them. You can also do more things like skip tracing. You know, if you get the address, you can skip trace it, get a phone number, and contact them that way. But that's probably the it's not the easiest way, but you won't really have much competition, right? Because it's hard for wholesalers and other people that are going out and targeting all these people. Sometimes those homes won't show up in their lists that they pull to contact. And so another way to do it is just letting people know, you can post, I'm not the best at this, but posting on social media, just letting people know, you're looking for a property. Does anyone know of a property that needs a lot of work? I'm looking to buy something to fix it up. I know a lot of people have gotten a lot of deals through social media and just letting people know what you're looking for. And then I had one other thing I was gonna say. Other than that, did we have a question over here?
Yeah, but I think it's figured out.
Oh, okay.
We have a question on here.
Yeah.
Tiffany asked, where do you guys find the money or the real estate investor purchase the house before closing?
So just to make sure everyone can hear that, because is your mic on? So where do you find the money? How do you, or an investor to support with purchasing and doing the flipping?
First, oh yeah, do you want to?
Well, yeah, for me, I started my first flip with $80,000 in Rose Park, and I just built that up. I just use my own money. So I don't borrow money. I don't know how people make money when they pay hard money lenders. They're better at it than I am because I can't figure that out. But yeah, I just use my own money.
That's good. Yeah, that's definitely the best, easiest option, right? And that's kind of how I was. I sat on the sidelines a little while because I was just like, it was one extra obstacle in my mind. Like, how do I go get private money? Once I get it, now I'm responsible for that, right? And it's kind of scary. And so I kind of did the same thing where I was like, oh, I've got to save up money to do this. But Matt Strong, if you guys want to write that name down, if you don't know Matt, he's awesome. He's with Sierra West Capital Partners or Sierra West Funding. And I've got his number so I can give it to you guys. But he is a great resource for if you're looking for hard money to start off with. Let me just pull up his contact really quick.
What does he typically charge?
So he's probably around 12% and 2 points. I haven't checked with him lately on what he's charging. His phone number is 801-244-3888. And his
244-3888.
3888. So that's 801-244-3888. And his email is mstrong@conradcruise.com. And so Conrad Cruz. So he's a broker. CRUZ.com. He's a broker. He's been lending money for a long time, and he's so cool to work with. He's great. So he would be a great first resource that I would suggest reaching out to. He's just, he's got tons of information to share for lending. But usually that's what, if you're calculating numbers on something and trying to look at it to see if it makes sense, I'll give you a quick formula that you guys can use, because that might be another thing that you'd want to know is how do we calculate numbers on a flip. And this can vary too, if you're using your own money, it can be totally different depending on how much money you want to make. But if you just want to write up there, so you'll first want to look at ARV, so your after repair value. So what is it going to be worth fixed up? So after run comps and say, okay, I think this home could sell for $500,000. That's your ARV after repair value. And then just to make it easy, I'll just give you some simple numbers you guys can go off of. So take away 8% for closing costs. So, closing costs on the sale. And again, if you're an agent, that's might be money that you'd be able to just save and take off. But this is just kind of a typical investor, easy numbers to go off of. So 8% closing costs minus your rehab. So this could be another one depending on, finding a good contractor. If you see a property, reach out to a few people and say, hey, I'd love for someone to give me a bid what this would cost. Yes.
So the thing is when you're looking at properties, it's usually a fast thing. Like it's usually they're looking for a cash offer, you're competing. So you don't have time to get a bid from a contractor. So this is where you've got to really hone in and know. So you could reach out to one of us, like we can help you kind of like, I can tell you what it's gonna cost to do a kitchen or a carpet, or, you know, most people who've done it a few times can kind of tell you just like a rough idea of that if you don't know, because you're not gonna probably get a bid from a
Yeah.
contractor, especially right now.
And you can do stuff like this, like 20%. I mean, I've heard people say anywhere from like 15 to 30, could be 35% of the square footage of the home. So if you take the square footage of the home, let's see, let me see what it would. Let's see really quick. I'll do some math. Okay, let's see. 2,000. Let's see, I'm trying to think of. Let's see. No, sorry. So if you take the square footage of the home and times it by anywhere from 15 to like 35. So on, like, say something, you know, like it only needs a light rehab, paint, carpet, things like that, it might be closer to $15 a square foot. If it's like a full extensive rehab, it might be closer to like that $30 a square foot. And so you can kind of talk to a few different people that have done it and basically say, hey, what are you seeing per square foot on a remodel? Let's say a home needs a lot of work. What are you typically seeing? And this will change depending on, you know, the square footage of the home, if it's really big, if it's smaller, right? Or you can go that route of like, okay, let's look at the major things of the home. Let's look at the roof. Let's look at the, you know, HVAC, things like that, the big ticket items in a home, and start from there. And then what does the kitchen cost? Each bathroom might be $4,000 or $5,000. There's this many bathrooms. There's a kitchen. There's these major things in the home. A new roof might be $8-9 grand. So there's different things where you can put numbers to get quick ideas. So that might be something good to look at. But yeah, if you can find someone that can, and you have the time for someone to walk through and just give you an idea, that's an idea too. So going back to the ARV minus 8% closing costs minus the rehab money, then you take away, if you're using hard money, take away those costs, which can be anywhere from, you know, 12% and 2 points. And so if you want to do the math on that, usually hard money lenders will lend around 80-85% of the value of the home or the cost of the home. That's another thing that they'll look at too, and they'll look and see what you're purchasing it for, unless you can show that it already has a lot of value there. That's what they'll go off of. And so you want to have a little bit of money, or you can partner with someone that has that money to make up that difference, right? From what you get in your hard money. But if you just take, let's say you're borrowing $400,000, times it by 12%, divide that by 12 months in the year, and let's say you're expecting it to be, you know, fixed up and sold within 4 months, then that's how you calculate that part of it. And then take 2% of 400,000, add that to it, and that's what your hard money costs are going to be. And then from there, you are just going to take away whatever profit you want to make. So I know some flippers out there like to calculate 10%. They want a 10% profit on whatever it's going to be. And so you'll just calculate your profit from there. And then that should get you close to a number. And then from there, you can kind of, you can adjust from there, right? If you don't have those costs, you know, the closing costs, if you're an agent, you take that down. If you're using your own money and you don't want to calculate that in there, you could pay higher than someone else might be able to pay. And that's where it's kind of all over the place. One investor might be willing to pay this number. One investor might be willing to pay more. You know, and they're like, how do you buy properties like that, right? It's like you're borrowing money. And so it just depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Volume and not, it depends on they're willing to make less. Like,
exactly.
For me, like it's not worth it because I'm always so hands-on. It's a big time commitment when we do it. And so I want it to be worth it. But other people are like, if I can make what, 10, 20,000, do it because they're doing so many, you know? So.
Yeah, if you're doing volume, and that's exactly right. You know, some people might be, oh, if I just make $10,000 a flip, I've got teams that are kind of running it. And so I don't have really much time into it. I pay everyone. If it makes sense and I can turn a little bit of money, great. But I'm the same way. I've only, you know, I've maybe flipped 5 homes, you know, so I'll usually look for opportunities, right? And if it's like, oh, this home interests me. You know, I think it'd be a fun one to do. I kind of like, same thing. I do my own staging. I like architecture. I like design. So I'll kind of look for those properties. And then, you know, it has to have pretty decent margins in it for me to be excited about it and want to take it on. Because once I do something, I'm kind of all in and OCD. And it's like, I spend a lot of time, no matter how much I want to try and, you know, distance myself and use other people to help me. It just, yeah, it takes up a lot of my time. And so, same way.
Love that. So I don't want to keep a realtor from lunch because I know that that's cardinal sin, but any final thoughts that you have about this? Maybe the biggest mistake you think you've made in flips and what you've learned from that, or something that you would suggest that these guys are looking at if they're looking to step into their first flip?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, this has been fun being here with Greg because I feel the same as you. Like, I'm passionate about it. I love it. If you're just kind of doing it for money, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I get emails every day and texts every day. I'm ready to like unsubscribe from all the wholesalers. And at first I was really excited about being on those lists, and anybody can get on those lists, by the way.
Yeah, that's another good way to
Sorry,
find deals.
club.
It seems like now it's hard,
Yeah,
but
so yeah, like I don't even really look anymore because I just don't see how people are making money on some of these, and I just kind of lost interest in that. But I would say, like, if this is something you're passionate about, that's where like, you know, I'd be happy to help you if you ever want to call me or whatever, because that, like, I love the idea of like elevating a house to its potential, to helping a neighborhood, and to taking your abilities and talents and just, that's how we all should be earning a living, right? Through sharing our abilities and talents with others. So like for me, I love it. Like I can see the potential. I know there's guys out there that are doing a whole lot more and probably making a whole lot more money, but for me, like the passion is still there, and I think it's fun and interesting. So I would just say that, like, try to just find what you love. You know, if this is it, then do it. If it's something else, then do that. As far as mistakes, I've definitely made plenty. I would say my biggest thing is like overshooting it, because I get so involved in it and like want it to be so pretty. And my husband's like, "You've ordered 3 light fixtures for that dining room." I'm like, "I just got the right one." And then it's like sitting in my basement, you know, I'm like, "Oh, I forgot to put that." Like, so, you know, like, so I there's a line there where we're still doing this to make money, you know. So that would be, I guess I've overshot some of them for the neighborhood a little bit, but yeah.
I have the same exact problem. You know, I always over improve. All my properties, I like to do it how I would like to live there, right? But you do have to, there's a lot of little tricks to know. I would say the biggest thing I'd recommend is get educated. There's lots of great podcasts. Bigger Pockets is a good one. And then there's a million other ones that are great to listen to. So I would say, as you're driving, as you're doing things, put on a podcast, learn from people that are experienced, go to the Real Estate Investor Association meetings. It's pretty inexpensive. I mean, you'll save thousands of dollars just on, I think it's like $100, $120. I don't even know what they're charging now a year to do it. But there's people that are doing deals in those. There's people that are sharing things on Facebook groups, things like that. That's where you're really going to get information that's valuable, that's going to potentially save you money when doing something like this. Or if you just want a shortcut, I think the best thing to do is partner up with someone. You know, you found a property, call one of us and just say, "Hey, I've got this," and it'll fast track you, right? You could say, "Hey, I found this deal. I've got some time to put into it. Do you want to go, half and half on this? I've got some money saved up that I can put in for the down payment. Help me, get in touch with a lender." I just need that confidence. When you do, the power of doing your first deal is insane. You do one deal, even if it's with someone else, don't worry about what you're going to make on it. Go in and say, "Do I want to do this? Do I want to get that experience?" Go partner with someone and use their expertise, and it'll be life-changing. It'll be that one thing where it's like, okay, I've gone through, I know how the steps work. I'm that way. No matter how many times I hear something, when I do it, it's, so much more beneficial. It opens my eyes, and you have that confidence of like, "Oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. I know how to handle that." Plus, when things go wrong, which they do, in flips, it's not like the TV shows, there's a lot of things where it can freak you out and you can get overwhelmed and it's kind of scary. And so I would say partner up with someone, do your first deal, and you'll be amazed at how much you can learn. I just got done renovating an 8-plex, and years ago, it would have been terrifying, right? To purchase and renovate, multi-unit property. But it was awesome. I've learned a ton the past year renovating it. And if I wouldn't have put myself out there, I was talking with someone that was at a real estate investor meeting, and they were running numbers. I was asking him what he was doing on it. Said, "Oh, that'd be awesome. I'm interested in doing the same thing." He called me a few months later and was like, "Hey, I got this deal under contract. I need someone to fund it. You still interested?" So just the power of letting people know what you do. It's huge. And so did that. And now it's like, oh, okay, I can go do another one. Let's do a 16 unit. Let's do a 32, and it's crazy because, it's the power of doing that first deal is huge. So I would say the biggest thing I'd recommend is just partnering up with people who are smarter than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're not in the right room. So.
Love that. So what is the best way for these guys to get a hold of you if they've got more questions or want to
Yeah.
partner with you on
For
something?
sure. Let me give you my cell phone. It's 801-871-9301.
And Annie, how about for you?
801-652-4955.
Okay. Well, thank you for being so generous with your time and your expertise, and grab lunch.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone on Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it either
And then
multiple
there's
agents?
food over on.
No.
Just
No,
you?
in fact, you didn't have, I was told you.
It's all over it, so you're ready. I mean, there's no lasagna.
Are you
but-
doing specs right now? Like, is there time to even start a build and not get a buyer on it?
You see, that's not being very. Maybe.